Today we're going to be looking at 5/4 by 6 jam and headstock. This grade is used by remanufacturing plants for cross cutting. There's an advantage to it. Normally you would pull this lumber out of random width and rip it to these widths in the reman plant. This is already pre-ribbed or called fixed width shop. This is 5 5/8. This lumber will be taken directly into a reman plant and cross cut. From this is number 3 shop. 3 shop has to yield a certain percent of jam cuttings, sash cuttings, molding ribs, and finger joint block. This particular board, we're looking at sash cuttings. Sash cuttings are used for windows, 2.5 inches wide, 28 inches and longer, and to yield a 3 shop out of this particular board, we need 30% in 2.5 by 28 inch cuttings, as you can see in the outline by the blue chalk inside the knot there. Okay, on the next example would be jam cuttings. Jams are used surrounding the door. That's what your door is hung to. Hardware and everything is attached to that. These cuttings are 23 inches and longer, and a 3 shop board has to yield 30% of jam cuttings. As you can see, this jam cutting right here is 27 inches long. I'd have to have 30% of that board in that type of cutting. Also in 3 shop, we're allowed permitted to take molding ribs. As you can see, molding ribs are 2 inches wide, 10 feet and longer. And again, this particular type of rib to make 3 shop has to yield 30% yield after cut up. Another type of cutting that we're allowed to use in number 3 shop is finger joint block cuttings. The finger joint block cuttings are 10 inches longer. We have to yield a little bit more volume there because of the shorter cuttings, and that yield there has to be 50% of the board in these 10 inch and longer cuttings. So as we go down through here, in between the knots, we would make our cuttings. So we'll go through this load to show you what our 3 shop looks like and go from there. cuttings have to be free for characteristics of defect. You can see here we have a nice jam cutting. It's clear on both sides, no problem. Beautiful cutting. Unlike your finger joint cutting, finger joint cuttings are going to be finger jointed, then they'll have a joint, then they will be normally primered, which covers a little light stain or maybe a light bird's eye that kind of blends in with the surrounding wood. And we're be permitted in a finger joint cutting. As I tell the lumber graders, if it can be covered with paint and the defect doesn't telegraph through, then we would be permitted to take it. Molding ribs are same as they are in the book. We can have a small defect, a small pocket, or a small knot based on a 2-inch by 10-foot rib. So they're not completely clear. Again, on the molding rib, that would be the bottom of the grade. Most molding ribs aren't clear. Sash cuttings, your 2.5 by 28 inches. Window cutting, they're practically free of defect. I'm going to cut this board up in a reman plan. I'm just going to come in and cut the knots out. This here's maybe ripped for a smaller block. This is going to be cross cut, ripped here. That's basically how it's done. As you can see when you look at that board, that board's probably going to yield 80% cutting value. Here it would be a little too dark for our finger joint cutting, but out in here we're getting into a lighter stain. We can take a little bit of that lighter stain for finger joint cutting. Light bird's eye in here, which when primered would be covered, wouldn't telegraph through, so we could take the lighter bird's eye, but we get into the darker material.